Good deal. Round two. One. A cup of coffee, but we're just gonna fresh. Put that in there. Yeah, dog. So we got some fresh coffee. And I'm just gonna throw this out real quick. Please hold. Got that in here. All right. We are ready to begin our second trip. Boop, boop. Where's going? Where's going? What's there? You know what I realized watching my videos? I roll through stop signs. I realize it's 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, so there's no traffic anywhere. I can see everything. It really isn't dangerous, but when I'm watching the video, I'm like, geez, Craig. I forget what I was looking at yesterday. I forget where I was going, but it was like, oh, no, it wasn't yesterday's trip. I was watching a video. I'm trying to learn how to edit the videos, which is another whole thing. Like, cut a little clip out, because what I want to do is, like I've said, I don't expect anybody to watch a live stream after it's been produced. So I might even stop posting the whole live stream once I start this other thing. And the other thing being, pulling pieces out of it that, if anything happened that was of worthy note. I thought I saw the reflection of a deer's eyes. Or maybe I'll keep posting them. I don't know. They're out there anyway, so I'm not saving space or anything. But I also don't know if I like I might be making a few changes. In any event, I was watching, I think it was from 2 or 3 days ago, and I had gotten gas. That was the day I got gas at BJ's, and I'll be damned. I mean, they have a stop sign, like, in the parking lot before you go make your left to go into the... No, I think the stop sign is after the left. But it looks like I'm driving through all these stops, like I'm just driving around and I'm like right through stop signs and stuff. It looks kind of weird, I think. Like, Craig, really? Listening to testing out some ideas for Halloween music. Like not every day, but on any kind of notable day, I try to walk into the bakery with my speaker, my little portable speaker, blaring. It's a really good speaker. Blaring some kind of appropriate music. Like, if somebody's returning from vacation, I'll have like a She's Back or blah, blah, blah type of song. 4th of July, God Bless America, all that kind of thing. So I'm looking for something for Halloween. And, the go-to is Thriller. But Thriller is a very long song. Thriller is a very long song, and this is like, it has to be something that is ready to roll and appropriate when because I open the door, I walk in, and then boom, it's playing. So I'm not looking for 5 minutes, and also need something that's going to like be, you know, I can't let, here's what I'm thinking, right? With Thriller, it starts out with a creaky door and then it's steps and then, so where do you start it? Like when I walk into the bakery, I could start it with the steps walking in and the creaky door, but it's, I don't know. I'm still working on the idea. I got to think about it tomorrow. But last night I was listening to some songs that I might want to put. I went into like YouTube's music thing and searched for Halloween, and so there's that. There were some interesting one-offs that I've never really heard before. I'll have to let you know what I choose. The Addams Family. That was one. Wow. Thanks for the high beams. I think I mentioned once before. I don't ever really use high beams. I don't like high beams. I don't like having to turn on and off, on and off. I don't really think they provide a whole lot more vision. I guess maybe they do. But how do I put it on here? Oh, there we go. Yeah. So that's a little bit more. But I also think that it doesn't really help you with, I mean, like, I can see if there's a deer on the side of the road. I actually can pick up, I think it's easy to pick up the head and the eyes. Like if there's a deer standing or near the side of the road, you can usually see the reflection in their eyes before anything else. But so Friday, I'm going to I should have my Starlink set up. We're going to test it out, throw it on the roof, see what happens. Fingers crossed. Now the nice thing about Starlink is you can turn it, you can pause it anytime you want. So, you know, you pay it, it's a monthly fee. Right now it is $50 a month for one standard plan. That gives you 50 gigabytes of data. I know I'm going to use, if I stream every day, I'm going to be using more than 50 for sure. The other plan for unlimited data is $165. So the break point, I think, is 50. I don't remember the exact dollar amount. It's somewhere between 50 and 165. Because what happens is, above 50 gigabyte, you pay $1 per gigabyte. So basically, if you're on the $50 plan, you are paying $1 a month per gigabyte of data. And so, but I don't, you know, if that doesn't work out for any reason, I can either pause it. I think it's a great thing to have as a backup, because when your electricity goes out at home, if I have this, especially if I have this battery pack, then I've got internet. Yeah, because if your power goes out, I lose my internet also, because Comcast and my router and everything else goes down. So I think it is a good thing to have. And I think, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think it'll just be built into your phone. They can do away with mobile connections, right? Do you think eventually cell towers are going to be a thing of the past? Down from satellites? Why would you need cell towers in the future? And I don't know how far in the future we're talking about, really. Let's say 5 or 10 years, but I don't know enough to know if that's really reasonable or not. Trying to think of like fun stuff I can do. Something's slid. Oh, you know what's slid? I know it's slid. There was a tray with some donuts. They were all sitting on one side of the tray. I bet they just slid down to the other side. I'm trying to think of fun stuff we could do as a group. If I start having people watching my streams, like I can hide something somewhere in my route. Stop here. car next to me. That they put little cute Halloween decorations on the donuts today. Little plastic pumpkins, spooky ghosts, stuff like that. Saw a car that had like some kind of little stuffed animal or something tied like under the bumper. It wasn't hitting the ground though. It was just hanging. It made me think of used to go to the Daytona 500 every year in Florida, and years ago I just remember even closer track was Dover, Delaware, but you'd see people who had like, I guess they were little stuffed animals or stuffed looked like little people, but they would be drivers that they didn't like, tied to the back of their cars or the carts that they were driving around and be dragging behind them in the parking lot. It was kind of funny. NASCAR's fun. I mean, it's fun to watch it on TV, but it's like when you go to a NASCAR race, if you've never been to one, it's kind of like it's an event in itself. With being there, like not even the race. The race is one thing, but it's just like a whole thing. I think it's changed. I haven't been to a race in many years. I don't even know when the last time I went to a race was. So it's been a while. But they used to have trailers, souvenir trailers all lined up. It was a lot of fun. They would have Daytona. I think they traveled to all of the places, but I remember at Daytona because I went down there with brother, and we'd get to the track at like 5 o'clock in the morning before anybody was really. They were just setting stuff up. I remember one time we were at Daytona and they were setting up. They were moving cones and setting things up in a parking lot. And like I don't remember why, but somehow we got involved in like helping them move some cones around and stuff. Like it's pretty funny. But so we'd walk around and check things out super early. I mean, a couple of reasons to get there early. One is it was kind of just fun to see people setting things up, but also that we were beating, the traffic, because back in the day it would take you forever. That was Daytona. I mean, that was bad, but even Dover, like to drive to Dover for a race, if you didn't get there early enough, you beat the traffic. You would be in. The traffic was just lined up. People used to, in the small towns, as you drove through little towns in Delaware, people would just be sitting in the front yard on lawn chairs watching the traffic go by, and they'd have signs out. Sometimes you'd have people selling refreshments. It was a major event. I mean, I don't think that's happening anymore, but it was a lot of fun when it was happening. But so they'd have the trailers lined up in the parking lot at this one second, and every driver had a trailer or two where you could buy hats, anything, koozies, stuffed animals, little miniature cars, and all the stuff that goes along with NASCAR racing. And so they'd open up. It was basically a trailer. There's a tractor trailer that would just, the side of it would open up like you'd see at a carnival or something, I guess. And there'd be a counter, registers, and people would just be in. The trailers were all set up like little mini. So one of the trailers was like a church. No, it wasn't the trailer. They used somebody's trailer. Like one of the drivers, that's what it was. They used one of the driver's trailers. I don't remember which one. My brother would know exactly. My brother remembers all the stuff like it was like we just came back yesterday. But one of the drivers had, in the morning, super early, the Sunday morning of the race, they'd have a little church service. So you'd walk by and there would be maybe 10, 15 people standing outside this trailer, and the person giving the service was up in the trailer with a microphone. Very funny. You'd be there early enough that Clydesdale would maybe getting them all set up. Usually they have them in their own little tent. So you can go in and see Clydesdale horses. That early in the morning, you kind of catch them too when they were out. They'd be walking around a little bit. Be a handler taking them through just to get their legs, just to stretch their legs and stuff. There's some big horses, I'm telling you. It's fun. If you haven't been to a NASCAR race, you should probably do it. It's just a fun experience. Started going there when it was sponsored by Winston. It was the Winston Cup Series, and so yeah, when we started going to races, people would be up in the stands smoking cigarettes. This was really like smoking wasn't cool anymore at this point, so it was sort of the exception to the rule that run into so many people smoking in public like that in a group. And they would give away cigarettes. I mean, you had to prove you had to show ID to be able to do it, but they would give you cigarettes. That was the other set. So there was the trailers where the souvenir trailers where they're selling. You know, every driver has a trailer with items for sale. And then there's another area for the sponsors. And you go over to the sponsored area, usually that's where you would get freebies. You get a lot of freebies. And food. A lot of free food. And when you got later in the day, there'd be long lines to get to the really popular food items. And some of the times they were giving away really decent size, either like a piece of pizza or decent size sample of their food, whatever it may be. Brother and I, the first Daytona 500 race we went to was the one where Dale Earnhardt had his accident. It's pretty crazy. See, in the morning, this is the way most traffic is going. But I think I mentioned it yesterday. You know, when we're going back to the bakery, we're traveling against the traffic. So if you get behind somebody, you really never have a chance to pass them. But it moves pretty good, even though this is quite a line of traffic, and it usually is if you look at it. As soon as I say that, he hits his brakes. But it does move pretty good. It's a steady pace. Before I left the bakery, I told Jackie that I was going to get gas, and I usually like to touch base with her before I take the credit card, and she was going to make a trip to Walmart, so I'm like, all right, I can do it when I get back, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm still going to get it, and I'll just have them reimburse me, because we can get a pretty good price. I didn't think about that. We can get a really good price at BJ's. Plus, it will take me a little less time to just stop there. Than it would to go back to Bakery and pick up the thing and then go. In Hampstead, I don't know what the gas is going to cost there, but it's probably higher. There's like a station on 30 or Main Street or whatever they call it now. I don't know if that's 30 anymore or not. It used to be Route 30 went straight up and it went straight through the center of Hampstead, and then they built the bypass. But now the bypass is 30. So they call it Business 30? Maybe that's what they do. Some places do that. I don't know. Acquiring minds. Okay. 305. Everybody's gas price is staying the same here. 305. It's 289 in most of the places that I was looking at. If we ride by BJ's and it's not in the 60s, right? I think it was 68. And we got it for 67. That's what it was, 67. Because I get 5 cents off that, so we're 62. You can't beat that. I don't think. There's a truck back here. He's unloading something. Hopefully they don't block the door. Damn, this place is hopping today, man. Hopping. Yeah, there's a lady that delivers some other stuff. And they had a truck full of... I don't know what all that stuff is. 3 deliveries going on at the same time. Okay, so we're at a quarter tank, so yeah, I'm just going to stop again. See this truck here, and see the truck in a minute, I think. I'll angle it so you can watch. See, I'm a little further than I need to, you know what I'm saying? Oh. Alrighty. A lot happens in the morning. You know, just think of all the people that are still asleep. Maybe not. It's almost 7. Actually, I'm not going to be driving tomorrow. Right? I think I've said that. But look, it's raining. But that made me think it's actually supposed to be raining quite a bit tomorrow, I think. At least the weather that I looked at this morning made it look like the percentage chance of rain throughout the day was like in the 90% or more almost all day until like afternoon. So, sometimes though, even rainy days are not terribly rainy in the morning. Like a lot of times you don't start till a little bit later. But I don't know. But you gotta realize, to me, morning is like 3 to 6. AJ must have seen something in my yard this morning because he went nuts. I got up maybe 15 minutes before the alarm this morning. So, kind of laid down with him for about 10 minutes, and then he gets up and he walked out to the living room, and he just went berserk. Like, mailman level bark. So I went out and looked out the front window, but I didn't see anything. So I don't know if it's an animal or a person. But I didn't see a person walking up and down the street. It's always a little creepy if there's somebody out walking around at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. The people that you want to go out and have, say hi to. I called the police one morning because this was years ago. So it wouldn't have been 2:30. It was probably closer to 3:30 or 4 o'clock. There was somebody walking up the street, and he kept walking back into everybody's yards. Like he'd walk along the side. And these are like, houses going up the street all, I don't know how many feet that is. Well, let's say 30 yards, maybe 20, 30 yards between the houses. So anyway, and so I saw him like walking up people's driveways, and he very slow, but I think there might have been some sort of substance involved, either alcohol or something, because he wasn't walking steady form. But I'm thinking, God, he's like, in the houses across the street, I could see it even more. That he was like walking up the driveway, kind of hanging out, maybe even walking into their backyard a little bit. The people across the street from me don't have a fence, so he was just like walking back there. So called the police. The police are extremely close to my house. It's like a 2-minute ride, which is nice. And they came, and I just saw them like stop and talk to me. But yeah, I don't think people that are out at time in the morning some of them, I guess, might be walking home from a night job or something. Not many. One morning I got up, and this would have been probably like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was in the kitchen doing some stuff, and I noticed, I look out, and there were about, I hope I can describe this properly, but there were about 5 or 6 black cars, like mid-sized sedans. All look like similar models, but there might have been one that were a larger vehicle. And the strangest thing was, they're coming. They drove up the street, and when I saw them, well, when I first saw them, they were all parked on the side of the road, and they're all lined up, right? Like with maybe a car length between each one of them. And they're all just sitting there. And I'm like, what the heck is this? That's what I originally saw. So I look at I see that, and I'm thinking, what the heck is this? And because it goes pretty, there were 5 or 6 of them or something. Maybe more, because it went up a few houses. And They all had their lights off, and there were people in them. That was the other creepy thing. I could see that there were people in the cars, because in front of my house there's a street light in front of my house, so I could see a little bit in the car. So it didn't last too long, and then all of a sudden, all of their light. I was starting to I was thinking should I call the police, because this looks like something bad could happen here. I mean, it scared the heck out of me. But all of a sudden, all started moving exactly like simultaneously. They just started moving, went out, moved over and just took off down up the street, like a line of cars. So I don't know what that was about. I told people at work about it, and then some people were guessing that it was, maybe they were going to, it was, some sort of police action, and they were going to, they were sort of setting up and getting ready to go to some house and arrest someone or something. I don't know. I mean, they were all undercover. Well, they weren't police cars, but that was kind of interesting. I got all kinds of weird stories. Probably need to use the windshield wiper soon. That's good. Let's try it, see what happens. Yeah, that's beautiful. About a really shower this morning, so I don't know where this is coming from. This is unexpected. Truck driver that I watch, a short clip that he put out there, where what he does is he grabs little clips out of his trips, I guess, and something happens, and then he narrates like a YouTube short video. So he was showing us instance where he was driving along. He had a bug that had hit the windshield, a big bug, and he said, "This is why you should clear the bugs off your windshield, because birds will go after bugs, and they don't know that it's a windshield, right? So and then some bird swoops." Like, it looks like the bird is coming after the bug, but realizes at the last minute that it didn't hit. In other words, it's saved itself by kind of swooping past in the nick of time. But not something I ever thought of. I remember I was on a road trip with my mom driving when I was little, and a bird hit our window. A big bloody mess. I think we were going either to Canada. I think the trip included Canada. I don't remember if we were in Canada yet. I think we were still in New York. But yeah, that happened. I still remember, like, it was a big bloody mess on the windshield, and we had to like stop at the rest area, clean it up. So let's see. I wonder what BJ's still be 267. What do you think? Can't see it yet. Can't see it. 72. Okay. It's still good. So if the sign says 72, we'll be paying 68. So we're paying $268 versus $89.90 in some places, and as high as $305 in others. That's worth it. I'll just do it. Just pay it. Because I wouldn't drive back over here with the card. This is the stop sign that I just drove through. But see, I think the stop is actually for the roadway that you would be making a turn onto. Where's this guy going? Where's he going? Go here. All right, let's we are. 57 to 57, baby. Yeah, I gotta learn how to grade. Did you notice that I turned the camera off there for a second? Yeah, that happened because I grabbed the camera and hit the off button. I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie. Busiest I've seen. Usually there's like one car here. Today there's like 7 or 8. Oh, gotta keep this to remind myself that I paid for the gas. Okay, like that. Oh. There's my favorite lady in there. You see her moving around. She's very nice. So here's an interesting thing. When I turned off the camera, I wonder if that's one way. Like, I don't have to start a new live stream. I can just turn off the camera. Because I think it stopped the stream. It said you're live when I came back. I don't think you saw what happened. It's interesting. Interesting. Okay, are we ready? So everybody got the seatbelt on. I like her. I should toot my horn at her. You know what I mean? I could start a thing where I toot the horn when I go by. Oh, there's the baby there. Should bring her a cookie too. I like surprising people with cookies and stuff. Everybody loves a good cookie. You could make a cookie that looks like a gas pump. Well, they could do that. I'm sure they could do that. They're very creative. So it is 7:22. Jeez, a little later than I thought, but I don't think we started this trip until 6:15, almost 6:30, I think. So yeah, I'm really like, this is serious traffic. I don't know what's going on. I'm not used to all this traffic. And it's raining. I mean, there's a lot going on. Be brighter. It's a little brighter now, right? See, I think that helps the video quality also. But now that I said that, this is probably the moment where it starts breaking up and you can't see a damn thing. I would have cleaned the windshield while I was in there, but it still was sprinkling. So today's exciting. I think I'm going to get to try out. It'll come today, hopefully early enough I can play with it today. Maybe not, but this has been an expensive month for me then, because like I've been doing, and this part is my own fault. The Starlink and all that stuff. I mean, it costs nothing to do this video. So there's that. But the Starlink, that I did. But prior to that, during this month, I was looking at this last night. So I had my router. I had to replace, not my router, my modem. I had to replace the modem because I think when the electricity surged or whatever happened, the first time I had my electricity go out a couple weeks ago, it did something to my modem because my modem kind of got burnt out. I couldn't get it to work. So I had to buy a new modem. I think that was close to $200. And then my Fitbit, I use a Fitbit Charge 6. I don't need the nicer, you know, like this, the ones that are kind of fancy that you wear on your wrist, because I don't wear it on my wrist and I never look at it. It is strictly to count the number of steps. So, but it fell off my ankle, and I knew that it was, you know, it was the attachment on one side of it was kind of getting weak, and I had it reinforced with I was kind of wearing a band around it. That bit, anyway, it fell off my ankle while I was crossing the street. I didn't know it, so I went about my business, get home, and I realized that it's not on my ankle. I'm like, oh my God, where is it? What is it? You know, I had lost it for good. So then I started to trace my steps backwards from what I had done since the last time I knew I had it, and it was in the, it was on the side of the street in front of my house. So like I had crossed the street to go over to a shopping center near me, and it was in the street, and it had, by what I could tell, it had been run over, but it was still working, which was good, because that way I didn't lose that day's steps. I think I had like 22,000 steps there, and so I would have probably guessed that I had 20, and I wouldn't have really known that. I don't know how you add the steps anymore, because Fitbits, it's like, I don't even know if they really have a word. I haven't been on those. It used to be a really nice product, and then Google bought it, and now it's sort of like it still functions, but everything's on the app. You know, when Google took over, they're like, all right, we're not going to maintain this website anymore. It's bull crap. But the website is where you could get charts, and you kept all your historical data. Now the app does that, but not the same. It's not the same. So I was a little worried. I have looked, I will say I've looked at other products because when Fitbit sort of took a step back as far as I'm concerned in their functionality, it's still the best that I can find. The easiest, let's put it that way. I don't need the smartwatch and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's still the best product out there for what I use it for. But it's not the same. I noticed, like if I go back, I don't know what it was called at the time, whatever their tracker was for this charge 5, charge 6, maybe it was still called charge, but it was an earlier number. It used to keep how many flights of steps going up, and it's pretty good at it. I had that for a while when I worked in downtown in Baltimore, a building that had 30 floors, and so lunchtime sometimes I would go and walk up 10, 20 flights of stairs, and but it doesn't do that anymore. I think they're smartwatches and things that are a little more for somebody to kind of live off of their watch. The higher end models have something that still does that. But so I don't get my steps anymore. Or I get my steps, I don't get my floors, I think is what they called it. Fitbit, I mean, there for a while, man, that was the thing. I loved it. I still like it, but it's not the same. Videos would be, the replays would be accessible in less than 12 hours. I think you can. I think you can put them out there. I don't know how that works. I think you can put them out there for people to see before the 12 hours is up. But I like to wait. Because I've run into cases where it's cut off. It might have been something I did. But it's cut off, I gotta get the whole video. When it finally finished processing, like say the video was an hour long, and then when it finished processing, it was 50 minutes long. So what happened to the 10 minutes? See, there's stuff that didn't pick up enough quality filming, or maybe lost connection and I didn't know it. I don't know. All the cows are up. Well, they're headed this direction. They're walking. I wonder who decides. Like, is there like a main cow that's like, all right, we're going to go over here today. We haven't been over here, and the grass is a little bit high, so let's hit this spot. That's what happens. What are they doing? Why are they taking down that sign? I guess it's not under new management. It's been under new management for a long time. So that's kind of an old concept. How long can you be new? You know what I'm saying? You can't be new for everything, forever. Maybe they'll put up a sign under old management. I wait for the solid. Okay. All right, folks. It's a pleasure. I'll be back on the road on Friday morning. I'll put my little cam, set it up ahead of time like I usually do. And yeah, it should be an exciting day. It should be Starlink all the way. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.